Okay, folks, well, it is 1:20 a.m. in the morning on the 4th of June here, and I am just now leaving the Grand here in Hattiesburg, Mississippi. I arrived here at, let's see, my 10:15 showing for the last rodeo didn't happen, literally. I got here and well, the showing had vanished, which was a real kick in the teeth because I drive 60 miles to get to this theater, and so that was really kind of a disappointing thing, but it is what it is. I said, well, I guess I'll go ahead and watch something while I'm here. And so it ended up being Mission Impossible Final Reckoning. And I know this is a huge movie. It's going to be out for probably another month here, at least another month at the theater. I was going to put it off a few weeks, but I said, you know what? It's the only other thing I'm interested in seeing. And so I went ahead and watched Mission Impossible Final Reckoning. I was going to wait to see it with my folks because I think they would enjoy it too, but I was like, well, I just drove 60 miles. And Santikos, the Grand, they've never done me this way. When I left, there was a 10:15 showing for the last rodeo. And when I got here at 10 o'clock, there was no longer a showing for the last rodeo 10:15 anymore. So I'm actually thinking about sending somebody an email. Not that they'll give a care, but it's like, come on now. Don't you know I drive for an hour to go to the movies? Anyways, I enjoyed this movie immensely. I knew I would. I was kind of antsy about, you know what, I'm sure there's going to be, this is the big finale movie. There's not supposed to be any more Tom Cruise Mission Impossible movies, even though there may be Mission Impossible movies. It's like an end of an era, you know. This is like historic. I really enjoyed the movie because I really enjoyed Dead Reckoning. Part 1 of 2, and I tell you what, when they really get to the point of picking up right where things left off, they really do that in this movie. And there was something mesmerizing about this film toward the end. I'm just going to give my quick impressions as I drive and then come back and do a full review when I'm sitting in front of my laptop at home. But I was thinking in the airplane chase at the end, how they spend so much money on these movies, and this is all practical. Millions of dollars just for a few seconds of actual old biplane, old-timey plane chases. That yellow one that the bad guy Gabriel was flying, and then the one that Ethan, the red one that he was able to get from the other guy. I'm thinking, man, this movie was so expensive. We've already been underwater with Tom Cruise. That was insane. I'll get into that. I'm like, this is beyond the pale. This is beyond reasonable that he survived something in this movie. And I'll go ahead and give him the benefit of the doubt on everything else, except that, well, again, I'll get into that when I get into my full review. But just for starters, I just want to say that I enjoyed the movie very much. It's one of the better films, no doubt, that's out. I was going to watch The Last Rodeo. It's the only other movie besides Karate Kid Legends that I want to see at the theater at this time. And I guess that'll have to be put off for another week or so, a couple of weeks. But it was another fun time at the movies. And I'll be looking forward to getting into lots of good details about this film whenever I can sit in front of my laptop and really just think about everything that happened. I like to go a long while talking, you know how I do. Anyway, till then. Hey folks, it's David, back again. As you can see, I'm here over the road. Somebody's backing in right next to me, look at that. Here at the Loves, Greenville, Illinois. So this is going to be one of my first, I guess this will be the first unofficial review from the road. I didn't have a good enough chance to get the review done for Mission Impossible. So what I'll do is I'll just switch over to audio in a little while and give my thoughts that way. It'll be easier to upload later.
Okay, folks, now I'm back again. Change of plan. I still didn't get that review done, but I'm gonna do it now. I'm gonna do it right now. I'm at home. Didn't get it done over the road like I made like I was going to. Nope. Still just didn't happen. Couldn't focus. Didn't have good time. Whatever. It's 11:21 p.m. on the 7th of June. I'm in my own bed, not in that mattress in the truck, and I'm just going to take the next few minutes to get my thoughts out about the movie. Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning. And I've already said that I didn't even mean to see this movie, and I went to the theater, but they did me wrong. My showing for or their showing, what was supposed to be Santico's showing for the film I originally wanted to see, The Last Rodeo, was canceled. It was just gone. I drive an hour and it's gone. So I'm like, well, I'm not going to not watch anything. I want to go ahead and watch Mission Impossible, even though I was going to wait to see it probably with my family. But it was the only thing that was there that I really wanted to see besides what I went to see. Anyways, I saw the movie, enjoyed it, and what I want to do to get the review going here, to get my thoughts out on this video, is to go through the cast one by one. And what a interesting and good looking lot of folks they are. Let's start with Tom Cruise. The idea that somebody could devote as much of their life to one franchise is a really remarkable thing. I'm going to go back and I'm determined to do this. Do like a little, like a dedicated marathon of sorts. Not that I'll watch them, all the Mission Impossible movies, in order and what. But I'm going to get it done. I'm going to review everything. Start at the first one, and then go back through, probably to Fallout, because that was what really got me back into it. There are still 2 Mission Impossible movies that I have not seen. I still have not seen Ghost Protocol or Rogue Nation. And even though I've seen the big finale movie now, and I'm pleased with the way things ended, I think it was a very respectful send-off for Tom Cruise. And there better not be any more Mission Impossible movies with Tom Cruise in it. This has got to be it. He said this has got to be it. He's working on like 7, 8 other movies, and so it's got to be the end as far as his involvement with Mission Impossible. Now, I learned something yesterday that, it's just hearsay, but Jeremy Renner, when they did one of the earlier movies that I haven't seen, it's like they were planning on maybe swapping these 2 men out, like maybe Jeremy Renner was going to be the new lead man, point man of the team, this MI6 Mission Impossible storyline, and that Tom Cruise was going to be leaving the franchise, but that then Tom Cruise changed his mind. I don't know if that's true or not, but I read that yesterday when I was watching a short where Jeremy Renner was talking about how he was just invited, kind of spur of the moment, kind of not serendipitously, just unexpectedly. Like, really? You're going to consider me to be in the movie, he said? And that's how that happened. I don't know if all that happened that way or not, but I could see it. I could see it because Jeremy Renner apparently was in it, and then he wasn't in it anymore, so I guess something was changed up. Anyways, let me go on to Haley Atwell, Grace, Agent, I'm going to say Agent Carter again, and that's not right, Peggy. She did really well in this movie, and I can't help but think she would have done more. She would have done well in all the movies that she would have been in if they had somehow gotten her into the franchise earlier. She it's an interesting thing that she's a part of the team now, and yet the team, the way again, spoilers. I'm going to go ahead and just put spoilers in the first thing you see in this video, and go ahead and talk about the details of the movie. Just to warn you, if you haven't seen it already, I don't want to ruin anything for anybody, but this is going to be for people who have already seen the movie. Obviously, it's like the team kind of disbands at the end. You know, it's like the AI monster is like encapsulated, almost Ghostbusters style, in this little device that the brilliant Luther Steckel, played by Ving Rhames, had created. And so he just kind of goes off into the night amidst the crowd, like to blend in forever. And just because the whole thing is, and this is what was neat about the film, the lead up to this. Again, it's kind of a sad thing that the only original team member is Benji Dunn, played by Simon Pegg, and Ving Rhames plays Luther, and Luther tragically, or he dies in the movie, and I'm wishing he had gotten more of a send-off. You know, it was a powerful thing and all, and it was part of the diabolical plot by Gabriel, played by Isaiah Morales, who was, in my opinion, a great bad guy. I really liked his villainy in these two movies. I wanted to run him over with my car. He was so evil. In the first film, with he knows everything. He's outsmarted you. He's outplayed you. He's outdone you. There's nothing you can do, Ethan. I know what you're going to do. The entity knows what you're going to do. There's nothing you can do. He was just so calm and cool about it all. I was like, I want to strangle this dude. And then the way that Rebecca Ferguson's character died in that last movie, I told you how much that upset me. I was ticked off. I was very upset by all that. But it was a neat way to do things. The thing about these Mission Impossible movies, at least the ones that I've seen recently, a couple years ago, 2 or 3 years ago, we saw Fallout, and then finally, a couple weeks back, I watched Dead Reckoning, and now Final Reckoning. The twists and turns, it's like you don't know what's coming next. You know, they literally explain everything as they go along. Okay, now we're going to have to do this. We're going to have to do this, and then and all of the stunts and all of the mission impossibleness of it. How are we going to sneak past? How are we going to infiltrate this group? How are we going to hide? How are we going to accomplish this mission? It's wild stuff, and at least for somebody like me, who I go in with a clean palate every time. I don't pretend to make like I know what's going to happen or anything like that. Just more than just a general way. Anyways, like, oh, well, I know such and such certainly isn't going to happen. But as far as where a plot is going to go, I don't even pretend to know. And it helps me enjoy these movies much better. But going back to Ving Rhames' character Luther, maybe when I watch those two middle movies that I haven't seen yet, it'll provide the answer to this question that's in my mind. But I can't really recall it being as strong, this aspect of his character in Fallout. But in the Reckoning movies, this two-part finale, he's almost like this sage-like character. I mean, he was never, ever a dummy. He was always this highly technical, basically a supercomputer engineer in this final movie here, with what he accomplished, with what he made in that device, and how he helped Ethan understand exactly what needed to be done, and how the entity was potentially playing him all this way or that. He was like this, it was almost like a Yoda-like character in these past two movies, and I was thinking, I don't remember him being quite like that in the very beginning, way back when Ethan invited Luther to join the team, and then they did Mission Impossible, and then at the end they're kind of going their separate ways. But the way Mission Impossible, the first movie, ends, I remember, they found Ethan and they're offering him a mission, and it's like, and he realizes that, and then in the second movie he gets back with Luther, and Benji, and it's like they're keeping on with what they're doing as these super secret agents. But what I'm trying to say is I don't remember him being quite. I'm hoping that maybe those 2 middle movies that I haven't seen will help me understand how he kind of morphed into this. I keep saying sage, like sage, like wise character in the way that he spoke, the way his lines were in the film. I mean, Luther, and thinking everything through and helping Ethan the way that he did, with all these wise words and stuff, and down to earth. Consider this, consider that, and I just hopefully he's in those 2 movies a lot that I haven't seen, because I know it's going to help me enjoy him a lot more. Because again, when these characters die, like the way Rebecca Ferguson's character died, and then Luther, it's a bummer, but it was also at least emotionally satisfying because it was important in the movie. They didn't die for nothing. It was like pivotal stuff, and that is good storytelling. That's a good movie right there. You're always sad, but it's like, and you wish it didn't happen, but it's like, you know what? At least when a character died in these stories, it's like at least it made sense. In so many of these dumb movies these days, it's like it's like you're insulted. It's like, hey, I kind of cared about that character, and now they're dead. For what? And the movie is just shrugging its shoulders at you like, I don't know. It's like, come on now. Anyways, Ving Rhames was really, really good. And going down this list, you see Pom Klementieff as Paris. Every time I saw her, every single time I saw her, I thought, wow, hey, it's Mantis. And Mantis looks like she wants to off somebody. I mean, literally, the one guy who had joined him in that last movie, Davis, played by Greg Tarzan, he's looking over at her when they're kind of held hostage by the Russian outfit, that Special Forces or whatever team that had gotten to the little Eskimo home or whatever that was. And he's like shaking his head, like slowly looking at her like, no, don't do it. Like she can't wait to kill these guys. She's like that through the whole movie. Even at the end, when Simon Pegg's character is near death and he's trying to explain to them how they got to do a suction, whatchamacallit, on his chest before his lung collapses. He's like, do you have any medical training at all? Do you think you can help me? And she's like, she's speaking that, like, was it Russian? I don't even know what language she was speaking. She says, I kill people. And he has this expression on his face. It's like, oh yes, of course, I understand. It was good humor. They did a little bit of stuff like that in this movie, even in the tense moments, and it still didn't come off, at least to me, as badly as like the Marvel movies, where millions of lives are on the line and millions have died, and it's like, and they still want to do stupid jokes. Anyway, I'm not going to do a tangent on those Marvel movies, but I just appreciated the writing in Mission Impossible. I thought the stuff was really well done. And let's keep going. Hannah Waddingham played, I don't know why it says actress, Rear Admiral. I wish it just said Rear Admiral. She had this, like, put on this, like no nonsense, not stone face, really, expression, but as, not just the captain of the boat, she's the rank of Admiral, when Ethan has to give this note from the president to her, because the president had basically gotten him out of custody. Let me make sure I know who I'm talking about here. Yes, that is Angela Bassett playing Erica Sloan. And the thing is, that should really say Miss President there on IMDb, but it doesn't. I'm looking at IMDb, by the way, as I'm going down the cast list here. But going back to Hannah Waddingham's character, it never... They went kind of fast over that part of the movie. It was a date in 1996 where apparently someone who she knew had died, and it was like a secret message, a coded thing, basically from the president to her, indicating this guy, Ethan Hunt, requires your assistance up to and including any and everything you can do for him, basically, to help him complete his mission, and only he knows what his mission is as far as getting back the key to the Russian submarine AI brain. Basically, that's the way I describe it. But let's keep going down this list. Katie M. O'Brien, she's one of the sailors. It doesn't have her name here. Let me see. Nope, it doesn't say what she did in the movie, but she was one of the sailors on that submarine. Captain Jack Bled's was played by Trammell Tillman. I've never seen him in anything. I've never seen either one of these folks in anything, but they were both really good. Katie M. was very suspicious of Ethan, and she was the kind of soldier or sailor in this case who would put like the blade right up to Ethan, like, oh, don't you move too soon. She was so suspicious of him until she had to help save him from one of the sailors on board who was going to kill Ethan, because I guess that was the one part of the movie where what you are introduced to at the start of the film, talking about how there's this widespread, well, not really widespread, but this insidious force of this insidious group of people who are basically fanatics for the entity, for the AI, who believe it's like their god or whatever, who are infiltrating the police and the military, and they won't allow any harm to come to this AI system. They introduce that at the very beginning, and they don't do anything with it except for that one part of the movie, which that's all it was needed, because when Katie M. has to, what was that she had, a fire extinguisher or some such thing, she bashed the guy's head so that he wouldn't kill Ethan. He had, it was one of those tense moments of going to try and use his body weight to make the knife go into Ethan, and she saved his life. But she was good. Simon Pegg as Benji Dunn. He was good, always. Greg Tarzan. He was good as Davis, and his relationship with Jasper Briggs, played by Shea Wiggum. It's like they had gone. It's like he went one way and his partner went the other in that last movie, and it's just extremely entertaining to know that that's what happened, because he was always suspicious of what was going on, and he realized, you know what, this Ethan Hunt, he may actually not be a bad guy. He may just be doing what he thinks he has to do. And Jasper Briggs the whole time, this was very, very neat what they did in connecting the first film to this one. And John Voight's character, he's the son of the John Voight character, and so he really wanted to take Ethan in. And then the way the film ends on that same note, that right there is absolute respect points. That is absolutely doing great by your storytelling, your movie franchise, doing things respectfully, connecting things. That was good stuff. To end on that note, the way for a second you think he's going to shoot Ethan well, the way he pulls that gun out, but then he actually just shakes his hand. And yeah, that was a great scene. And here's a case of worlds colliding right here. Holt McCallany played Secretary of Defense. This guy was in a movie I saw just a few weeks ago called The Amateur. And I thought to myself, oh great, he's being typecast. He was like the director or one of the, or deputy director or some such thing, maybe, or some upper echelon, whatever, in the CIA. And now here he is again. And I saw the trailer for this movie, Mission Impossible, Final Reckoning, and I hear him say Actually, this wasn't in the movie, but it was in the trailer. He says, you gave him an aircraft carrier. That wasn't in the movie quite the same way it was in the trailer. But when I saw him, I immediately thought, man, that's the same kind of role that this same guy was playing in The Amateur. And I actually think I like him a little bit more in The Amateur than I did this, but he did good in both movies. Henry Czerny plays Agent Eugene Kittredge. This was another example of connecting the first film with the ending here. It was played perfectly by him in the end. The way it was great. The ending of the film, the way Kittredge wanted to control the entity. He wanted the USA government to have it, because he believed it would be in responsible hands that way. And to his credit, I think he actually wanted to follow through with that, and not like his counterpart, Denlinger, I kid you not, played by Cary Elwes, who was killed by Gabriel in the previous movie. Or did Kittredge want to maybe keep it to himself and be God on earth or whatever? You tell me in the comments, which way was Kittredge going? Was he going to hand this over to Madam President when he got it out of South Africa and was in control of the entity? Or what was he going to do? Tell me in the comments. I'm kind of curious. Which do you think Kittredge was really... what was he really about there at the end? What was Kittredge going to do once he had know-how of how to get control of the entity? What was he going to do? Okay, let's keep going. Janet McTeer played Walters. She was like this intense advisor role to the president and all. She was there, and I don't think I've seen her in anything else. Here we go. Rolf Saxon, as CIA analyst. William, and I want to get his name right because it was, how could I forget? William Donlow. This was excellent, and when I say excellent, I mean it was unexpected, and it's almost like a strange kind of dream. It's like some deja vu or something. I had no idea they were going to do this, but they completely connected the first movie with the final movie with this guy, with the scene from the vault where Ethan Hunt had he almost hit the floor, and one drop of sweat would have locked him in the room because it would have triggered the whole security mechanism. And the way the knife fell on the desk 30 years ago, he gives that back to Ethan. I kid you not. And he was the guy who, I remember when Kittredge said, the guy says, what about him? And then Kittredge says, I want him manning a radar tower in Alaska by the end of the day. Just send him his clothes. Just mail him his clothes. That literally happened. That literally happened to this guy. And he lived his life as an analyst from his little hut in the outpost tower or whatever in this Ice Cube where he got married. Lucy Lucy Tulugarchik played Tapisi. And she's this really nice lady. He had been married to her for like 30 years. They play it off as a joke at first, but then, because Mantis, Palm, Clementif, and Benji, when they realized the significance of this man and this name, wait, this sounds so familiar to me. When they realize who he is and how he plays into Ethan's past, they're like, oh dear, oh no, this is so horrible and humiliating and awful. But he plays it off like it's, but Rolf Saxon, he plays it off like it's that's just my life. It's just what happened. It was kind of strange, but I'm glad it happened. Especially when he talked to Ethan, it's like, I owe you everything. It was such a neat part of the movie, and Ethan almost can't believe it himself. It's just the expression on Tom Cruise's face is like he's just he's absorbing this. What this man is saying, and he just has to somehow compute it, and he almost can't believe it. But it's like, I'm the reason you were sent to live on this ice cube for 30 years. And there's so many moments like this in the movie where you do feel for Ethan, whereas Luther has this great speech where it's like, I know you've always been on the right side. I know it. Ethan is having to actually face the reality of all these things he's ever done, even more so than in Fallout, where the guy was telling him all that you've done, the fallout for all of your, I forget the way the guy said it, but it's like all the stuff that he's done over the years, just like it's all catching up to him, and the way people did suffer from his decisions sometimes, so that even more suffering wouldn't happen, and all of the moral predicaments and all the decisions he had to make, the risks he took, and the people who came and went throughout the years. This was a good movie. This was a neat story. And when Rolf Saxon tells him that I met my wife, I wouldn't have, the woman I love, I wouldn't have known her, I wouldn't have had my life if not for you and what happened all those years ago. It was a neat moment in the movie, and just seeing this guy, man. They actually have the footage from the movie, from the original Mission Impossible movie, and he is such a competent actor, and it's just such a coincidence that I've never seen him in anything else besides the first Mission Impossible movie and this movie. And to see how knowledgeable he is by the end of the movie, when he's basically trying to defuse a nuke like other team members of Ethan's team and Luther and people would have to do. It's like, I'm thinking to myself, man, this guy should have been on Ethan's team all along. He's so good, but it's just, I really liked his character, and it's such a neat thing because I never thought I would, because I never thought I would see the man again. They played him off in the first movie, like, oh, well, this is just some unfortunate bystander almost, but no, he ends up playing such a role. It made it just another really neat part of the movie. Let's go to Nick Offerman as Sidney. I didn't realize that is this who I think it is? Have I seen him in things? If I do, oh dear, yeah, I recognize him now, even though I've never seen those movies. He was with Will Ferrell and some funny stuff. I never saw that movie they were in together though. Anyways. Yeah, he's in this as the 4-star general, and this is another unexpected thing. The way that happened at the end, where he had told that Marine, "I need you sidearm." The guy's like, "Sir, really? What are you talking about?" He's like, "No, you heard me, son. Hand it over." The president had said, she's under so much pressure. By the way, it's pretty intense. The part that Angela Bassett plays in this as the president, because let me just pause and do a quick side tangent. When Ethan was in the mind reading tub, the booth where he put the mask on and stuff, and Mantis had warned him, it will change you, like, don't get in there. And he saw everything, and the thing is speaking to his brain and telling him how it's going to be. That montage of an actual nuclear exchange, and the build-up of the tense music and the orchestral whatnot, and the missiles launching from all the silos around the world, hitting the cities, and like, it actually got my blood pumping. They did the music well, and it looked so good, and I'm like, this is intense stuff when you're like seeing the end of civilization as you know it, because that would basically be Terminator land if it actually happened, like a nuclear exchange, and all the major cities are blown up and half the world dies. It's like, it was actually intense. They actually did that good, and I'm like, wow. And then Ethan can barely communicate when he's staggering, getting out of that thing. Am I real? Are you real? and he's trying to come to himself. Anyway, I wanted to say that little side tangent is to do with her character as the president, because the entity has taken over control, kind of like Skynet. Again, this is kind of almost a Terminator derivative kind of a thing, all this AI stuff. Anyways, Angela Bassett was great in that role. Simon Pegg always. And wait, I'm backtracking here. I got to keep going with my characters here. We're gonna not do everybody, but just a couple more. The way that happens at the end, where it was some side advisor, was it a secret agent, a bodyguard? Who was that? Who actually made a move on the president when she was deciding to not launch, when she wanted to give him more time, and everybody in the room, except for a couple people who weren't like the military, harsh sounding, we've got to do it, we've got to launch, or we're not going to be able to do anything. It was a really tense moment, and you're thinking he's going to be the one to snap and make her, and put a gun to her or something and make her push the button. But no, it was some other guy, and then he dies protecting her body from him. He shoots the guy dead. I was like, whoa, that was another great scene. And then the way he died, I wish they had given that scene a little bit more room, because it's like he slumps into the chair, and it was like, Madam President. It's like, and then he just dies. Whew. It's a good movie. Who else can I note here? There's some people. Pasha D. Lizhnikov played Captain Koltsov, and I'll just remember him saying, "If you were me, would you believe you?" And they both have to say, "No, I don't guess I would." The only other person is NRO Richards, played by Charles Parnell. Here's another thing of, I don't know if he drove directly over from the Top Gun set. I'm sure he didn't. There's years apart to be in this movie or what, but it was another example of, it was another role for him as a high up military official there. It was neat to see him again. And that's the only other cast member I can see on IMDb, this list anyways, that I can make a note of here. Anyways, let me go from talking about the cast to talking about just some things that I really liked about the film. And I think I've already mentioned, as I was driving home the other night, giving my first thoughts about that crazy airplane chase at the end of the film. That was wild. And thinking about it now, let me say one more thing about that. That somehow reminds me of some of the olden days cinematography, some of the old films, and I mean old movies. What am I talking about? I'm talking about how long it went on for, and Tom Cruise going from one plane to the next, and then wrapping himself around the support beams and straps and stuff of that biplane. That reminds me of something that I've seen, not just one, but many or multiple older films, where it just kind of goes on, and you can see not all, but more of what a lead character on point is having to do. And that's a perfect example of both will be on a airplane, after he got the guy, after he caught up with him, after I guess Gabriel didn't have a gun, or did he drop it? Maybe Ethan caused him to drop it. But anyways, that was nuts. That was absolutely nuts. And again, the tension of three situations going on at once, like the control room of wherever they were in Washington, D.C., and some underground bunker where every single thing that's going on as far as military threats around the world is being monitored in this huge control room with the President of the United States and the Secretary of Defense, and then the people in the bunker trying to defuse the bomb. Dunlow and his wife and Davis, who had stayed behind to help them while Benji and them had gone to try and get the entity wrapped up in a neat little bow, basically, because that thing that Luther made, when it's all glowing in that little box at the end of the film, looked almost like a piece of jewelry, like a piece of glowing butter or a glowing stick of butter or something in its own special super case, a little miniature briefcase of AI infinity chaos, all wrapped up in a neat little carrying case. And then there's Ethan. This airplane, and the one guy just goes flop. He's knocked unconscious and falls out. But yeah, that entire thing was, and this, maybe it's just me. Maybe it's just me being able to really enjoy a movie and understanding in my mind. I'm watching a story here unfold on screen that I've never seen before. I don't know what's going to happen. It had me going until the end. Literally, I was like, okay, this is it. It's nuclear war, or nuclear attack, not really a war. It's the AI that's taken over everything, and it's going to eliminate us all like Skynet and Terminator. Ethan has to press this button. He has to attach this electronic device to this other electronic device so that his friends in the South African underground bunker place will be able to do what they need to do to capture the AI and basically disarm this whole thing. And I'm thinking, okay, look at that. His parachute's on fire. Okay, he's got a backup, but it's like, does he have enough time? I'm thinking, literally, I was thinking this. I was thinking, is Tom Cruise about to die? I was thinking that. I was thinking, okay, this is the end of Ethan Hunt. He doesn't have time to save himself as he's falling from the sky. Which there's no way those biplanes were that far up in the sky, but, and you know, you got to suspend your imagination. I'm like, he's going to die. He's going to go splat, but he's going to have allowed them to save the world, basically, first. Because remember, they had the whole thing where she's got to cut this red wire and then also pull the plug in time too. And the whole thing was like, what's the difference between a good a pickpocket and a great one? Another great line from Ethan Hunt, Tom Cruise, to the new super agent there, Grace. I was literally thinking, okay, he's gonna die, and it's gonna be this emotionally impactful thing. He's gonna go splat on the ground. But no, he actually managed to get his secondary parachute out before he hit the ground like a meteor. And so there he is, just his usual banged up self at the end of the movie again. And so Ethan Hunt did not die. And I was pleased with that. And I was pleased with, if they're going to do that kind of thing, as far as, I started to say this earlier, have this AI thing, like, captured, literally, or enough of it that it could reactivate itself again and take over all of cyberspace again. The whole thing wrapped up in a neat little case that Luther had specifically engineered. Like nobody else in the world could have done this. And so Ethan was, the way that it played off, like nobody should have this, but they trusted him because he had saved their lives, because he had given them a second chance. He had helped them, these different team members, get a whole new lease on life and stuff. All these different things. It's like, it was special. It was a great way to say, we know you're not this bad guy, the way other people wanted to blame you, blame all this horrible situation on you, your life, the things you did. Because it's like, we know you were doing the right thing, Ethan. And so they actually entrust him with it at the end of the movie. That was neat. I mean, that was just so good. I don't think it could have, I don't know if it could have ended in any other way without killing off Ethan Hunt. I was thinking maybe they'll go the Sherlock Holmes 2 route and make like he died when he really didn't. But no, when you see at the end Kittredge and Ethan, he's in South Africa, and then they find him, and it's when the guy shook his hand and everything, and he let bygones be bygones. He realized he actually did care about his team, and he wasn't a villain. He was an honorable man, and he shook his hand. But there's Kittredge, right? He had come over and took the device, the thing that the poison pill, basically, as they kept calling it, and he saw how fried it was because Luther had sent one final message to Ethan, which was very heartwarming, by the way. It was a very touching thing that he said at the end, pre-recorded, because Luther had already perished by then, earlier in the film. And it's like, when Kittredge looks at this thing, it's like, it's fried, it's destroyed, it's like, it's nothing now. He doesn't say a word to Ethan. He doesn't say, thank you, you tried, or anything. It was just 100% pure, glorious Kittredge. He didn't smirk. He almost snarled at Ethan as he just kind of turned away in disgust and just started walking back to the helicopter. And I just thought, that is classic Kittredge right there. He doesn't give a care about Ethan. It's wonderful. But then right after that is when the other guy, who had been hounding him for 2 movies, shook his hand and basically communicated in that way, like, I get it now, and it's over. We made it. But one more thing I want to talk about in this movie. Oh my goodness. The submarine escapade. This was insane to me. This was the Mission Impossible thing that they did. And again, I haven't seen 2 of the movies, but this has got to be the biggest of them all. It was the thing that is in like the promotional for the film, and how long could Tom Cruise hold his breath and all this stuff. This was so immersive, no pun intended, that I felt like I was watching a whole different movie. That's how intense this was when I saw it on the big screen a few days ago with 8 or 9 other people. When they flood that thing, and the young sailor woman who was he's kind of grown on her a little bit. She realizes he's not the potential threat that she perceived him to be when Ethan first came on the ship, having jumped out of a moving airplane into freezing cold water so that he could get on with his mission and not fail to reconnoiter with his friends, because they had the mission all planned out, and it's that they had to meet at a certain time with a certain frequency with a certain time frame window, otherwise none of it would work. That's how close a window and how tight the schedule for finding out where they needed to be in the world and where the sunken submarine was and all this stuff. It was nuts. It was absolutely nuts. But yeah, when Ethan is in that chamber in the submarine being flooded, and then that door opens, I thought I was watching a whole other movie, man, because the expression on Tom Cruise's face was great, because he's in this super underwater suit, right? This great big chamber opens, and the Russian ship, the super high-tech, top of its class Russian submarine is right there. It's right there on their tail, man. It's some Hunt for Red October stuff, and it looks so good. And this entire sequence, the underwater, they actually did this stuff underwater. And I'm thinking to myself, this little man in his suit and this great big vessel underwater, and he's being knocked around and bumped aside, and he has to shove himself off in time to not be caught in the tailspin propeller and be annihilated and cut to bits. And how dark it is under there. And then in the distance, as he's finally floating off to the side, you see the submarine. They're chasing one another, and they're going so quickly through the water, and they're leaving him because he's done with it now. He's got to get down to the crashed submarine, and he's got to get inside of it, and he's got to get the AI brain out of the AI brain chamber, and he's got to get to that part of it. And it's like, I was sitting there watching this movie, and after a few minutes, because this is like 20 minutes long, I was thinking, I would rather be light years from home in outer space, even in that darkness, even with lights flickering, like losing power in a spaceship or something. I thought to myself as I was sitting, I would rather be a million miles in outer space than under the water. There's just something about it, man. The claustrophobic. I've had a few weird dreams about like being in a submarine. It's crazy, but I'm like, it's so dark, and all that pressure. And you saw how much the world freaked out when that little submarine that was so oddly built, and those guys died in it so quickly. I forget what it was called. 2 or 3 years ago now. And I'm just thinking, okay, now he's in the torpedo room, and there's all these explosive missile-looking silo things around, and then he finds some dead bodies in parts of the submarine that had not flooded with water, and it's just one thing after another. I'm like, this is crazy. This, like, Mission Impossible indeed. I'm like, and of course, being a submarine setting under the water, they've got all that sound effects. It's like, oh, almost like some Gregorian chants in the background or something. They do that in submarine movies all the time. It's like, oh, just like that. You can barely hear it, but you can hear it. It's like, it was so immersive to me that I was like, it didn't take me out of the movie. It like took me into a whole nother, because it just goes on, and then the whole thing starts to move because Ethan is having to flood a few rooms to navigate around and get her inside the thing, that the weight is shifting, and it's on a cliff under the water. It's under the water, like a mile under the earth or whatever. And I'm thinking, I just can't. Just imagine being inside of that thing when it starts to tumble over and it's rolling down a hill under the sea, under the ocean, with underwater mountains, and it's crashing in, and it's about to fall into the center of the earth if it ever gets to the bottom. And I'm just thinking to myself, I watched a movie a few months back called Last Breath, and that was an excellent film. It wasn't anything like what this situation was, though. It's like I would just like close my eyes and just ask God, just please just translate me, just get me out of here. I just can't. I can't. Please just take me out of here. I will be dead, but I just won't be here anymore, and I'll just cease to be. That's how I was thinking, and I'm like, you're under the water miles deep, and it's dark, and all that pressure and the eeriness of finding the dead crew members and all this stuff. Anyways, yeah, it was basically favorite parts of the movie, and also absolutely ridiculous because Tom Cruise ends up having to take his clothes off. I'm like, you would not survive this. You would not survive being shot out of this torpedo, because it's the only way you can get out now, because it's falling off a cliff. And he ends up, of course, it's all according to plan, of course. that he gets hypothermia and his body is shutting down. He's got the one thing he needs, the one thing he came for, strapped to his body, so that at least he got that. But it's like he has no oxygen. He's going through the bends. Granted, they had their own decompression chamber, and that was a neat part of the movie when he told the captain, well, sir, with all due respect, your decompression chamber was never even part of the mission. And that kind of kind of semi-impressed expression that captain had on his face when Ethan said that. It's like, oh, you've already got everything lined up. So it didn't occur to me. I was like, where in the world are they going? Because Grace, after the Russians have the firefight and their house burns down, Grace and Dunlow's wife, it's like, when are y'all going, polar bear hunting? You remember the part of the movie when they're going off somewhere? But where are they going? I finally realized after the fact, they're going to exactly where Ethan is, as he is now unconscious, trapped under the ice, but having floated to the top somehow by the grace of the script writers, I guess. I'm like, you would not survive this, Ethan. You would not get from way down there. He swam. Okay, if there were some kind of a device, some inflatable whatnot, some thing he could have used to shoot himself up to the surface at least part of the way. But no, it's super Tom Cruise time, I kid you not. He swims. He's using just the strength of his 60-year-old body to do jumping jacks under the sea, miles under the sea, until he gets to the frozen layer of ice above him, at which point then his body's shutting down and like convulsions and just can't go on any further. Total exhaustion, no air, and all the pressure of the sea that he escaped without somehow succumbing to it. It was... I would have had to have done something different in that part of the movie, is all I'm saying. But then he's in the decompression chamber for days, and so that his arteries don't burst. I was just thinking, okay, we've jumped the shark here with this with this Mission Impossible. But yeah, the entire underwater sequence was just insane. And it helped make the movie. And I know I've gone on quite a little ways here with this. What I think I want to do, since I'm getting tired, is I'm going to go ahead and shut her down now. And maybe come back with a few more thoughts for this journal entry for Mission Impossible, Final Reckoning. Or maybe I'll just call it quits here. I'm not sure. Anyways, just in case this is the end, thank you so much for listening to me ramble, folks. As you can see, I really enjoyed the movie, and I hope you did too. Till whatever happens next, take care.